Welcome to day 190 of the 300 movie challenge. Today we watched the highest grossing film of March 2010, which was Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland.
No,
In
no,
Underland?
yeah, it's Alice in Underland.
Alice in Underland.
It's actually the sequel, though.
Yeah.
Alice in Edgeland.
Oh my god.
So, okay, my story that I mentioned in the
Oh,
last story.
yes, the story.
Back in early high school, when
Mm.
when this was coming out, I liked this girl,
Mhm.
and she was in a couple of my classes, including like Japanese class and a few other things. And anyway, so she before, as this movie was coming, it was like, before it was coming out, and then right when it came out, she was fangirling so hard at this movie.
Really?
Yes, and she was like, literally like, oh my god, Johnny Depp is gonna be the Mad Hatter, and like, oh, and like all this stuff, and I'm just like, I was like, I mean, I like this girl, I should at least look at the movie, and I like ended up looking up trailers, and I'm like, this looks stupid. Like, and there was something about just her obsessiveness with it, coupled with the fact that, like, I don't know, like, there's no factual reason as to, at that point, why I would, like, has had this dislike for it. But, like, it was very quick where I just grew to be like, I just don't like this. And, again, I hadn't seen it, I didn't, like, read reviews of it or anything, I didn't know. But I just, and so that just bothered me, and then but I, of course, after that I forgot about it, right? Because eventually those kinds of obsessive fangirl people just move on after a while. So,
Did she talk about it after it came out, too, or
yes,
no?
but she did. But again, especially by like the time the next school year rolled around,
Yeah.
I didn't mention it.
Right.
So, but I so eventually I ended up seeing, Nostalgia Critic's review of this, which is a couple years old. I don't remember when it came out. And I kind of, like, when he made that review, it kind of, that whole story came back to me, and I was like, oh yeah, I, like, hated this for, like, no good reason. And then I was like, okay, let me actually see how it is. And then I saw his review, and then I'm like, no, okay, I good. I didn't have it. I subconsciously determined that there was a good reason. And then after watching it right now, and here's the other thing, is that, like, because of how her and I would kind of, like, make fun of her obsessiveness about it, and she was like, I'm gonna make you see it, and I, like, basically said to her, like, there is no way in hell you're gonna make me see this movie. And now I'm
Fast
seeing this
forward a
movie,
couple
and now
years.
I'm like, oh, damn it. But, but, yeah, so, yeah, this is not good. This is really not good.
No.
And,
Okay, to clarify a little bit, me and my aunt actually did go see the movie.
We saw it in theaters, oh my god, we were disappointed in theaters.
I remember finishing the whole bag of popcorn. That was probably the single most thing I remember from that thing.
I just remembered, like, we were, like, at the end I was just like, I don't think I like this movie, and we went with, like, a group of people. We went with, like, 5 other people or something.
mhm.
It was a group of people. I don't remember how many exactly, but yeah, it was a group. Of which all of us kind of came out being like,
What
eh.
was this?
And, like, okay, I don't really remember Alice in Wonderland. Like, both the original movie and also the book. I don't really remember it. I know I watched and, was read the book or whatever, but I don't really remember them. Okay? So, I, don't have that background, but at the same time, so I'm not going to say, like, I didn't like it, but at the same time, I feel like if I really liked it, those versions, I would remember them now, right?
Right.
So, point is being, like, I didn't really care about this to begin with, but
it somehow screwed it up even more.
Yeah, and there's so many small things about it. Like, it's not just one thing. Well, okay. Honestly, the biggest problem is Alice.
Yeah, yep,
This is
Alice
a
fucking sucks.
yep. This is a dream. Every 2 lines.
insistence that it is a dream, even after she gets like she
Injured.
pinches herself, she gets pricked, she gets slashed. She even goes through a whole list of things that have like happened to her in this dream and everything, and it's just like by that point, do you really have an argument that this is a dream? Thank you, Sword. You agree with me.
And she's so boring.
Yeah.
She's so boring.
I fell asleep twice.
Have a feminine character in this society where evidently no one understands her and everything.
No, it's so overt about the whole, like, I not gonna live my life by your rules or whatever, but it's
I'm special.
yeah, but you're not actually special. You're just saying you're special, but then you're being as boring and mundane as possible in terms of your actions and personality.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
this is different, but it's like what I said all the way back in Spice World, where I was like, they were saying how they, like, weren't being, they were doing it for each other. They weren't being, like, manipulated by the studio or whatever, when, like, they were just saying it even though they were doing exactly what they said they weren't doing. You know what I mean? It's like that idea. And it's just, I hate that because, again, this is, like, it's not, like, super common, but, like, a lot of times for many, like, female leads, they do this, where it's like, we're empowering just because we said we're empowering, not because we're actually doing anything empowering. It's just like, well, okay.
Yeah.
The strong female character.
Yeah, and by strong we mean, like, fucking cardboard.
She was so boring in her voice and everything too.
I
She
think
looks stoned as fuck.
I think she literally can't speak out of, like, an octave of tone. Because she never did. It was so flat the whole time. And yeah. But, again, it's not just her. That's not the only problem. There's the fact that, like...
Is the weird romance between her and the Mad Hatter?
Is
like,
that what
kinda
that...
gross.
Like, that's the thing. I don't even know if that's what they were going for, but, like... Like, I legitimately don't know if that was, like, a legitimate thing, or if that's just how we interpreted it. It's weird. And, I mean, the Mad Hatter... Honestly, every character suffers from... Okay, no. The other bigger problem here, besides Alice, is that they tried to turn this into Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah.
This is legitimately, like, the chosen one going on the quest to save the world. Like, it's that kind of fucking story, which is it's a really generic story, right? And in Lord of the Rings, it works because even though it's a generic framework, they have, interesting characters doing interesting things, and there's twists along the way. Whereas here, you have the boring framework, but then they have just, like, people who are basically caricatures, right? And the caricatures could work in a completely, like, loony kind of story that makes no sense, which is, kind of what Alice in Wonderland is supposed to be, right? It's supposed to be completely loony and off the rails, and this, like, doesn't. It tries to make it, like, again, a standard plot, and it just makes all the other characters stand out as, like, really awkward, and it's just... It flips back and forth between weird scene that, is quirky and is, you don't understand it, and, like, save the world quest. It's like, it's just stupid. It doesn't work.
Not only that, but they set it in like the least appealing world setup. Like you're given Wonderland, and you somehow turn that into a boring, lifeless, colorless setting.
Yeah, the colors are so, like...
They're washed out.
They're so washed out compared to what they should be. And, like, they really should have gone not just with brighter colors, but also, like, the design of the world itself is just, pretty standard fantasy kind of setting.
Yeah.
Like, they
It's
should
supposed
have
to be,
made
like,
this...
weird.
Yeah, they should have made this way more surreal. And they didn't.
The Red Queen should be living in, like, a teapot or something, not, like, a regular castle.
Or whatever,
Or like
just...
a rose garden.
And have, like, again, if you want to go, like, truly weird, have shit that, like, doesn't make sense, like, geometrically and stuff. You know what I mean? Do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like that'd be actually really cool. You know those like optical illusions or whatever that like you can't make in real life, but you can draw them.
Oh yeah.
Do shit like that, but like yes, you can CGI that. You know what I mean? That'd be cool, right?
Or
But-
like those sidewalk chalk paintings and stuff where it looks like it's like three-dimensional and you're like standing on a little island or something, but it's actually like the way that the camera is positioned and everything.
Yeah, or like
Oh,
the whole
yeah.
thing about like the staircase that like always goes down or something.
Oh yeah.
Like have shit like that. Like that'd be cool. That would actually be kind of cool to see like in big effects or whatever. But no, it's just kind of like foresty area with the castle. Like, ooh,
and hedges.
yeah. Like,
And
and I
yellow skies.
yeah, and I get that there is the Wonderland staples of like the hedges is a thing and the castle's a thing. But like you can do much more with that, right?
Spice it up.
Yeah, and then the only thing visually that I would say is that some of like the designs of some of the like the beings and creatures are kind of neat, but some of them, right? Again, like the Red
Yeah.
Queen looks weird, Mad Hatter looks kind of weird. Cheshire Cat honestly looks kind of bland. He's not very interesting,
It's supposed to be pink. Also, the insistence that this is Underland or whatever
Well,
instead
yeah.
of Wonderland. It's just like
Why even bother? Yeah, but like for example, the design that I actually did kind of like I think the cards actually look kind of cool,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the White Queen's like chest piece
The
soldiers look
chest,
kind of cool,
shoulders.
right?
Yeah.
So it's some of the background stuff is kind of neat, but again, they still needed more color and like more a bit more intrigue to them and stuff. So
I feel like too if they added more color to the character popped out a lot more as well. They could have done an interesting thing with that where if they really wanted to keep this whole edgy thing or whatever, where it could be like you can make the characters like, especially if they're really feeling blue and everything, you could make them like blue tinted or monochrome and everything, but the backgrounds and everything would still be like
they
nice
can still
bright.
pop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they would pop out that way and stuff instead of just making everything gray. And then even after the Jabberwocky's like done and finished and whatever, none of the colors come to signify that everyone's happy again.
yeah, they really
Everyone's so
could have.
miserable.
Yeah, again, they could have done so much more with the visuals in so many aspects, and they just didn't. And like, if you want to go purely by like the quality of the CGI, I guess it's pretty good. But like, again, the pure quality is not the point, right? Especially for
No.
something as strange as this. It's like trying to, it's the whole thing about making a video game. Ooh, look how realistic our graphics are versus like an art style, right? And it's like
Yeah.
something like Journey wouldn't work with a realistic art style, right? You know what I mean? So it's just
Yeah.
stuff like that. So yeah, and then okay, a couple more specific plot things. They
You mean the
make
calendar?
I'll get to that in a second, but they make a big ass deal about like the Mad Hatter hasn't done his dance. Right? They bring this up like so many times, and then he finally does the dance, and it's like he does it for like 10 seconds, and then it's like not even that interesting, and then that's it. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yep.
okay, cool. Like it's just like, what was the point of any of this?
It would have made more sense if the colors would come back because of his dance, and even that wouldn't make that much sense. But
No, but it'd
Yeah.
at least be. But again, that's the kind of
Something.
nonsense that could actually work in that
Yeah.
Wonderland setting, a Wonderland setting. So,
But-
yeah. But okay, the fucking calendar. It's the whole thing about like it shows all events, past, present, and future. That it's like, well, then literally, why is there a plot to this movie? Like, dude, you know how to do everything. Like, come on. And then like late in the movie, like quite late in the movie, there's this whole thing about like, wait, Alice is the one who has to defeat the Jabberwocky, and it's like, yeah, you knew this already. Why is this an issue now? It's so weird.
I don't know why, because like they showed it. They showed it in the beginning, and she
Yeah.
saw it with her own eyes.
Yeah.
It's just, oh, it's so.
Dumb
Yeah,
hoe.
the fact that they have this, like, you know, generic fantasy plot of the chosen one hero, and
In a
there's
mysterious world.
it's not even, you know, that could have been a lot more mysterious. It's just, it reminds me, like, I think I'm trying to think of like movies that, you know, could be kind of similar in terms of like very basic idea, and the one I think of is Forbidden Kingdom, right?
Mm.
It's a
It's a
similar, at
much
least,
better movie.
you know, big idea, and yeah, because at least Forbidden Kingdom, it like, again, the plot of Forbidden Kingdom is pretty simple, right?
Yeah.
But at least it like had some fun with it, with like kind of
Yeah.
fun scenes and some stuff that's, you know, because the other thing, this movie is so like dry and like trying to be like, you know, we know we're serious, and it's like, yes,
And
fucking
edgy.
Wonderland is serious. All right, cool. You know what I mean? It's just, it doesn't work. I don't know what they were thinking making this movie like they did. It's just, ugh.
Ugh, I'm so tired. I fell asleep twice. I was just like, I'll just close my eyes for a couple minutes.
And then, of course, there's the whole thing. Oh, and then there's the whole thing where they basically try to say that, like, the animated Alice in Wonderland was, like, you know, a past trip that she had to this world. So it's, like, trying to, like, market it as, like, a sequel, kind of. But
But then the title of the movie is Alice in Wonderland, which
Yeah.
which is not true on many different levels.
Alice in Underland is more like it.
yeah, and then, so it's just, like, it's just stupid. It's stupid. It's stupid. It's just really, really stupid. And ugh.
Oh, there's also the whole thing where there are two. In the beginning of the movie, Alice sees that the boyfriend or husband
Husband.
of her sister is cheating on
Yeah.
on like another woman and everything. And after all of her bravery and all of her things about I'm going to be brave and I'm going to be different no matter what does she have to say to the guy?
I'm watching you.
Yeah.
That's
Take
what
better
she
care of my sissy. You're still part of the fam.
I'm
But I
not
don't
gonna
like
tell
you.
her anything.
But I'm not gonna tell my sister that I saw you snogging another hoe.
And it's just like, what?
And then somehow, also after she comes back, somehow, like, the guy, whoever that guy even is like, oh yeah, now I totally trust you to help me run my company. It's like, well, wait, the whole point of the real world setting was that this, you know, Alice, you have to follow the gender stereotypes of being a woman, and yet, like, at the end, for literally no reason, that guy's just like, ah, yeah, sure, you can help me run the company. Like, okay, like, why? What changed?
She's eating her cake just like Charlie could
my
in Tim Burton's version.
I really love that they referenced imperialism at the end with China
Oh,
and
well,
how
yeah.
Britain did that whole thing.
Yeah,
The Opium Wars.
but, and then of course she, like, quote unquote does the Mad Hatter dance, like, at the end. It's just like, but it comes off even more awkward. It's like, it's just stupid. There's so much dumb shit, both, like, in terms of actual dumb things, but then also
Oh, yeah.
dumb from, like, a perspective of people who made the movie. Why the hell did you think this was a good idea?
Another thing is that how is it a punishment to banish the Red Queen into like exile and have no friends and not be loved and everything? Because isn't that exactly what she went through?
Yeah, I don't know.
Except
I don't know.
she's chained to the guy that she thought loved him, but then tried to kill her, and now they have to live together.
It's whatever. I don't.
I'm like falling asleep during this review
You've
because of
yawned
how
several
boring.
times.
This movie was so boring it broke me.
Yeah, no, this was like a 1 hour and like 45-minute movie. This felt like Avatar long. it
Oh my
was
god.
really
That world was so much, like, it had so much diversity in terms of, like, the colors and the visuals and everything.
yeah, and again, Avatar actually used the long time to do stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not, when I say it's Avatar long, that's not a complaint about Avatar. It's a complaint about this, right? So
Yeah.
it's
Because half of it is just like this stupid woman girl, like talking about how it's a dream and then just being a child and being stupid and yeah. I can only take so much stupid before I like try to kill myself.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Moving on from this.
Well, speaking of stupid, the
Oh,
next
no.
movie is pretty much the definition of stupidity.
Oh
What is it? Oh,
no. Oh,
I didn't think I would see that movie.
I
watched
really
that movie.
I have a hope that it's like hilariously bad.
I guess on that cliffhanger.
I really hope that it's like hilariously bad because I mean it's not good, but I'm like this could be like just complete fucking hilariously terrible insanity. And you know what? I kind of want that. It'd be damn better than this.
It's more Wonderland than this movie is.
So, we'll have our hopefully good insanity tomorrow.
And then I'll play this movie when I go to sleep.
Yes.
Ooh.
So you can then be in a dream that's totally a dream and not real life.
Okay, we're ending this. Goodbye, everyone.
Good night.
Oh my god. Sweet dreams. Ah. Okay.
Underland.